This episode of Football Friends is proudly sponsored by our friends at Roasting Warehouse, your go-to for amazing coffee. And here's some exciting news. Their Black Friday sale is on now with 25% off all coffee online. Forget our usual discount code this week. Just use the code BF25 at checkout to snag this incredible deal. It's the perfect time to get in early for your Christmas gifts or treat yourself to some of the best coffee around. Head to www.roastingwarehouse.com.au and stock up now because their Black Friday deal finishes on the 1st of December.
Oh my goodness! Cheeky! That is extraordinary from Ben Stef. And it's their leading goal scorer and captain, Stefan Moore.
Western Sydney Wanderers star Nic Milanovic, welcome, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
We put out our A-League wrap-up show and we did our rolling team of the year, and I get a message saying, wow, I score a fucking hat-trick and I'm still not good enough for your Stef's rolling team of the year.
Far out. I was like, I don't really care about the A-League team of the week or anything. I just want to make this fucking podcast team. Well, I can't get in.
You put 3 past Ryan Scott on the weekend.
For the penalty, you can't really see it, but there was so much banter going on in that penalty spot. He's going, you're a little soft cock, you're not going to take the hat-trick, you got no balls, I know what you're going to do. I've known you for too long.
Western Sydney come out, big one, Mata.
He's one of those foreigners that we've all had that's just a legend. He plays the fine, spins the wheel, does all of it. He's a legend.
And welcome back to another episode of Football Friends with Ben and Stef. How's it going, Ben? International break, what did you get up to?
Fuck all, to be honest. Just waiting for the A-League to be back, and it is back, coming back this weekend. Obviously, yeah, just training and staying fit. We had a little intra-club match on the weekend, which was nice. Got a few extra days in Adelaide, which we already spoke about. What did you get up to? You had the little cheeky weekend off.
Yeah, we trained straight away. Obviously, every team does it different. You got the days off straight away, where we got 2 days off over the weekend. So we had a massive session on Friday, and then we had Saturday, Sunday off. So I went down to Aldinga, down south, with Dylan Pereira and his family as well. So that was nice.
It's a bloody good life, huh? Good life in South Australia. We actually had a fucking scorcher ourselves on Saturday here in Melbourne, which was nice. A nice little change. No, it was about 33. It was actually a fucking top day. Top weather in Melbourne. Great place to live. There's a bit of international football. I don't know if you caught many of the matches, but Germany absolutely cruised. 7-0, wasn't it? Did you like that? Germany cruised.
Yeah, I don't really even watch the UEFA Nations League because it's a shit competition. I don't really know what it was done for, to be honest. Like, they're just playing games for the sake of it. So I'll look at the results. I did see that, of course, but it doesn't qualify you for anything. No. It's just UEFA trying to get some extra cash rather than playing friendlies. And I just look forward to watching the Socceroos ones, to be honest, because the Asian ones, they obviously mean a lot.
Well, on the Socceroos, what were your thoughts? Obviously, the game in Melbourne.
Yeah,
what were your thoughts on that?
It was probably, I think, like Popper came out afterwards and said, yeah, they didn't really play too well, especially in the first half. They struggled with, I don't know, like just playing out from the back, to be honest. Like Saudi's press was quite good. Our centre backs kept going into the sixes, who would then bounce out the other centre back, and Saudis would just press them, and we couldn't really get out. So I think overall, like, you want to win those games at the end of the day. Like, that was a massive one at home. You win that, and you not secure, but you at least put yourself in a very good position for that second spot, because Japan, in my opinion, have already wrapped up first spot. But second half we were better. We created more chances than them. So there was a little bit of an overreaction on X, which is pretty standard, to be honest, with most things in Australian football. Football general, to be honest, every fan's fickle. They all love to complain. It's just the way it is. But we created better chances. I think we had three clear-cut chances. We had a lot more shots than them. They didn't look like scoring. So can you complain too much? Yeah, okay, winning would have been better, but I think, it's his third game in charge. There's obviously going to be lapses in performances, and I'm sure he's going to rectify that with the game against Bahrain. What about yourself? What were you thinking watching it? You didn't go to it in the end, which is not very good form from you.
I was sick actually,
Yeah,
and I did get a ticket from the PFA. The trusty guys at the PFA sorted me out, but I said, look, I don't want to take a ticket potentially away from another player, and then I'm not even going because I'm sick. So just keep the ticket, give it to another player so that other people can go, because the tickets were hard to get, and the crowd was decent. The game was, look, I agree with you. I think it was okay. I think it's a little bit worrying that in the last 5 Socceroos games we haven't scored more than 1 goal. There's been a few scoreless ones, 1-0 games, which is not great. You want it to be free-flowing football. You want them to be scoring more goals, especially against the lesser quality Asian opponents. But there's no easy games. And, we've kind of learnt that the hard way so far. So I'm sure there'll be a bit of fire in the bellies going back to Bahrain after, what happened in the Gold Coast not too long ago. So, we need to put things right. Hopefully get a good win over there. We're still in a not bad position in the group.
Yeah, we're coming second. It's close. Like the group's right there. Like if you look at the other 2 groups, there's a big difference between like first and second, and then the rest. I think it is, or even maybe 1, 2, and 3, and there's drop off. But in our one, you've got teams that are very close. So now going into the return legs, everything's to play for. And if you win 3 games in a row now, you'll shoot up. You'll be flying. Obviously, Indonesia at home will be a big one. Playing away was difficult, but playing at home will be good. If we can get 3 points against Bahrain, that will be massive in that next step to kind of securing second spot. Which, to be honest, like I know we want to play good football, but at the end of the day, it's just about qualifying. And Pop has just taken over, so we'll see. But should we get our guest in here? I think it's enough time he's spent in the waiting room.
Yeah, he's been in the waiting bay for a bit. Let's get him in. And we've got a very special guest joining us here today. It's someone that I know personally. I spent a bit of time with at Western United, won the championship together, and unfortunately now he's moved on. He's still in the West, but the west of Sydney, and he's gone, had an absolute breakout season last year, and then he's capped it off with a hat-trick last week before the international break. I'm sure he's raring to go this week for Unite Round. We've got Western Sydney Wanderers star Nic Milanovic. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
You pumped him up there. I don't know if his head's going to fit through his door afterwards.
That was look.
That was a good intro.
I'm going to go straight in because obviously I'm going to break the ice. Milo has been messaging me for the last week, ever since the last game. He scored a hat-trick. We put out our A-League wrap-up show, and we did our rolling team of the year, and I get a message, I think it was maybe Tuesday afternoon, saying, wow, I score a fucking hat-trick, and I'm still not good enough for your Instead rolling team of the year.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. You know what, to be fair, I even said to Benny, I was like far out. I was like, I don't really care about the A-League's team of the week or anything. I just want to make this fucking podcast team. I can't get in.
Fucking hell. Well,
that was good banter.
Yeah, I think to be honest, we did. I don't know if we gave you a mention on the actual episode, but maybe it just slipped our minds because I think we spoke about.
I said Milo's hard done by here.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things,
To be fair, to your credit, like I wasn't 10 out of 10 the first 2-3 weeks, so that's fair enough.
Yeah. That's held you back. Western Sydney losing a couple of games. Like you scored against us, but wasn't your best game. But then this game here, obviously, was quality. So I think if we had if we were doing it each week, then obviously you would have been. Well, you're in fucking FIFA's team of the week, weren't you? So who the fuck are we?
Yeah, it's all right. Maybe next week. Surely, if I get something against Sydney, I can roll in there. Surely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep this. We'll keep this little clip here, and if you have a good game this weekend, it's a big game for you boys, Derby. How are the boys feeling for the big game?
Yeah, good. Actually, I think the win against Newcastle brought everyone's kind of heads back together and gave each other more of that, like, all right, like we've got that off our back now. We've won a game. We know we can win a game. Now you can see it's positive. Like, yes, okay, we started pretty bad, but really you're as good as your last game, and if your confidence is high, you can beat anyone in this league. We all know that. So I think we just roll over like we did last week and go to Allianz, which we've actually got a good record at. I can't remember the last time they won at home and we won at home. It's kind of the opposite. So yeah, I think that'll play in their minds and our minds too. So I think yeah, I'm excited for it, and everyone else is too. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm actually cooking about it because we played before you guys, and I asked. Like, I've never seen a Sydney derby, and I'm like, fuck, I'm already there. Might as well just stay and actually watch the game. But they've said, nah, like you got to come home or come back to the hotel and have dinner. And I'm like, fuck it, who gives a fuck about dinner? Give me a corporate suite there. And
Yeah, it's a good stadium, you know. Like props to Sydney. It's a good stadium to be at. It's a good stadium.
You reckon it's going to be a good crowd?
Yeah, I reckon. Well, the first one was unbelievable. Even though we lost, the crowd was really good. It was loud. Like, I couldn't hear the boys 5 meters away from me. It was really good. So, and it was like that last year when we beat them 4-0. It was like that. It was pumping. It was nearly to the brim. So I'm hoping the same this week. It's better for the league. Like we've already seen the attendance like percentage or something go up this year already, like crazy. So hopefully get 30 plus, however much it holds. Yeah.
Yeah, class. Well, I guess we should probably go into a little bit. We can talk about this for a long time, and we'll probably touch on it a little bit later. But going back to your junior career, we won't spend too long on it, but I guess let the listeners know a little bit more about how you started playing football. Where did the love of the game come from? And then what were your junior clubs before you kind of broke onto the scene professionally?
My junior career, it kind of just I fell in love with football before I even started playing. It was just bred into my family. My dad's a Croat. Like he just loves football. Played in the NSL when he was younger. My mum was born into a soccer family as well. All my grandparents on both sides. Everyone's soccer. No one else has played any other sport. So it was already instilled inside of me before I even started playing. Obviously, I'm a Westie. Been here all my life, so I played for a little local team here called Mitchbury Jets. Started there when I was a little kid. And then from there, I went straight to Sydney United, the NPL team. Played there till about maybe 12, 13, whenever the Wanderers first started, the first year with Papa. I come into the academy there. Loved it. I was like, that's where I really started to more so fall in love. Like, okay, I've got a cool badge on me. I've got a big club. Now I've got to start doing something, you know. So that's how my brain was. And from there, I spent maybe four and a bit years there, and then I was like, I wasn't doing that great over there. I was a small kid. I always played relative age as a kid. I never played my own age until I was maybe 15. I was always the shortest and the weakest. And then I grew myself a little bit into the body, and then I went to Melbourne, went over to West United, tried my chances over there. Lucky I got a scholar there, and yeah, I loved my time in Melbourne. Even Benny will tell you, I love Melbourne. Like hopefully when I retire, I can move to Melbourne. I absolutely love Melbourne. So, yeah, I was already instilled with those boys, and that's their friends for life. I think still to this day, most of my friends have come from that Western United team of 2-3 years. And yeah, growing into football there, obviously I had John there, lovely guy, great guy. Still think he's a top guy, good coach. I was in a rough spot where I couldn't break into the team yet. I wasn't really like outperforming the others. I had that little good stint off the bench I was going 1 year, and obviously as a player would, you go up to the coach's office and you knock and you go, why am I not playing, like we all do? And yeah, obviously I couldn't get the game time that I wanted, so come to Wanderers, and yeah, that's been great for me. I think it's worked perfect in my favour. So yeah, that's kind of my journey. But I think yeah, that love of football will never go away. I don't think you can play if you don't love it, really.
So you obviously moved on to Western Sydney, and Do you think something kind of shifted when you moved? Obviously, you spoke then just now about obviously, it was a wrong kind of timing at Western United. It was hard for you to break in. You maybe weren't showing that you were miles better than the players that were playing. But obviously, moving to Western Sydney for me is arguably a club that's probably going to have even more competition than what you had at Western United. And you obviously managed to go there and just cement a spot straight away. Was there something that kind of changed mentally that lined up with you going back to Western Sydney?
I think a big factor was obviously because my family's here and all my friends and obviously my parents, my brother, and I felt like I could be a bit more mentally down and grounded. Like over there, I was as any young kid would tell you around the league. You're on a scholar, you're away from home, you're stressing about this, you're stressing about that. You know what I mean? So you want to go out to dinners, you want to go have fun with everyone, but then you're thinking, oh, like I can't afford to do all this stuff. You know what I mean? So I think coming home, living at home, no expenses, like you can already, that's already a mental. You can just focus on your football. I think that was a big factor. Another big factor was I got signed at Western United by Marco Ruden, so I already knew that. Obviously, he saw something in me, and when he gave me that call to say come with me to Western Sydney, it was as well another one. It wasn't a no-brainer. I still had to think about it, but it was definitely a pushing factor. Like, okay, he's signed me before, he's seen something, maybe I can break in there. So that was more of a push towards Western Sydney. Yeah.
Was there was there any promises? Like obviously you were still a very young player. Was it just like Marco Ruden said, if you come here, work hard, you're going to be a starting player for me, or it was more just you felt like you had a better chance to actually go there and start because you were going to be more comfortable, like you said, living at home. That was going to allow you to actually play your best football.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, I actually thought coming back there was no promises, but I actually Benny knows I'm confident. I back myself, and I thought, you know what, change of scenery, come back home. I'm gonna come straight in and start. And as soon as I come, I actually didn't start one game that whole second half of the year. I had Amorla Uni, who was possibly the best winger in the league for me at the time. He was crazy. Had Cassini Yengi, now Socceroo, Brendan Borello. You had all these names, and crazy as it sounds in my head, I'm like, nah, I can get there, I can start. But that first 6 months, I think actually was a good thing of because I was competing. I was really trying to push my way in, and I think it made me train better, made me want it more. I was coming into training, I was doing the extras, I was coming in early, I was being more professional, like I was doing the gyms and the stretching and all that stuff, and it got better and better and better. And now that's obviously when people leave after seasons, doors open, and yeah, even before round one of my good season last year, I wasn't starting. Milos had an injury day before the game, and I stepped in, and I had a crack a game at the end of the match, and maybe it was too hard to take me back out. So, yeah, obviously luck's on your side sometimes, but I think you create your own luck, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I think yeah, like you said, you create your own luck. Of course, you can never make someone else get injured or make them have a poor performance. But when you do get your chance, you need to take it. And if you didn't take that, and if you played poorly, like you said, you probably would have been straight out. But you were so good that they had to keep you in. Um, while you spoke about Marco Ruden, I'm curious to I guess touch on him a little bit. We've got another mutual friend in Dill who chews my ear off all the time. Um, he's spoken about like his relationship with Marco Ruden. He obviously went from Western United to West Sydney. Same thing, kind of what you did. So you obviously both really liked him as a coach. And when you were talking about the extras, doing the gym, doing the prehab, recovery, he's spoken really highly of like the demands of Marco and how he expects you to do all of that stuff. I guess what's your opinion on him? Obviously he's left now, but as a player, did you really enjoy playing under him? What were his strengths? What did you kind of take from him?
I did actually. I actually enjoyed playing under him. Obviously, it showed. Like I had a season where he backed me. He gave me more of that freedom inside. Like, okay, he's everyone knows around the league. He's a tough personality. He's a tough coach. His demands are really high. Um, anything you do, even at training, if it's as soon as you step across that white line at training, it's head down. So I think even in the games, he was good to release sort of that tension and be like play free. Like, yes, okay, I'm going to smash out for this and this and this, but at the end of the day, it's you going out there. It's not me. That was sort of his mentality, and to be honest, it showed. It showed in a lot of players. I think he's had a lot of players that have grown under him, like especially Dill when he when he got there under him first time as well. He had a cracker season at right wing back. So, I liked him. I think his personality is great. I think it's important for a coach to have high demands. Otherwise, it's going to slip. Your team's going to slip. I feel like that's seen everywhere. But yeah, there was a reason why I went back for a second time with him. It was just, I don't know, I had that little bit of, in my chest, I trust him, he trusts me, and yeah, there's clearly a backing there, and it showed last year,
Yeah. Well, I guess everyone's going to have a different opinion, but it's good to it's good to hear a little bit like Dill's, like I said, Dill's told me so many stories about him, so I thought it'd be good to kind of take your opinion as well. But now going on to, I guess, current times, you've had that breakout season that you just started speaking about. What do you think it was that kind of allowed you to play like that in that first game? And then from there, did you kind of see, all right, this is my chance to really kick on? Or were you really just taking it game by game?
I don't know what it really spurred it on. It was more so that, that was the first time I ever played on the wing. I wasn't a winger at all. Benny will tell you, I was always a number 10 or a number 9. Never played on the wing before that round 1 game. And I kind of just worked on it. Every day I was doing my own thing on the wing, skills, one-on-one with the defender. It wasn't really my forte, really. It was more so getting the ball in the pocket and shoot, really. That was my thing. So, adjusting to the new position, it was hard. But after the first 2, 3, 4 rounds, I was kind of in my own head, like, all right, I can do it. Like, I was beating my defenders. I was creating chances. And I was like, all right, you know what? This is maybe your position on the wing. So, it's all, for me, it's all self-confidence. If you back yourself, like, I don't know, you could get tackled by a defender 4 or 5 times in a row, but the 6th time you beat him, it's a goal, you win 1-0. So, yeah, I think it's just more confidence. And yeah, I thought last year going into the wing was actually probably the best thing for my career, and hopefully I can keep doing it out there, because I love it out there. I think sometimes you can cheat out there as well, so I don't mind that as well. A lot of the coaches, I'm sure, and all the teams smash the wingers for not running back, but it's good, and I'm really enjoying the system we play now. Like, we're talking about current times, and I think Alan gives us that sort of free role in the winger coming in, or stay out wide if you want, and sort of trusting our wingers / number 10s as we are. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Are you preferring the right more than the left? Obviously, you played last season on the left, which, you know, I've been a left footer on the left wing. It's not fucking easy, you know, to score goals, especially. Yeah, you can maybe put in crosses, you can get down the line, but to score the amount of goals you did for playing on the left side, and I know you're a header merchant. You score so many headers with that big fucking
Vulcan head
in on you, but it's fucking impressive to score that amount of goals playing on the left side as a left footer. Are you preferring more on the right now this year, or you like the left?
To be honest, like I like both. I didn't really see myself playing on the right wing. If you told me last year after that season I had, I was actually very surprised that Alan put me on the right, and he told me I want you to be on the right. I think it's more of a free roll on the right, because obviously I'm not right-footed, so I'm not going to stick on the touchline, try to take my man outside and be uncomfortable coming in, where I feel like now I can go both ways. I can come inside and shoot and cross and pass, or I can go down the line. So yeah, I actually like the right. It's going okay now. I'm kind of finding my feet as it is. Like, I've just moved there, so you can see in the first 1, 2, 3 games, I was still kind of working it out. And in pre-season, I played both sides as well, because I didn't really know where we're going to go. We have such a fluid attack and so many attacking weapons that maybe it's going to shift through the season. And yeah, I think the right wing will be good for me. It's knock on wood, hopefully keep showing through the year, but yeah. And I can get in the box, like you said, big biscuit tin, but that's what I enjoy doing. I like going in and getting up. So I think I can do that on the wing, yeah.
I wouldn't want to fucking see you at the back post, that's for sure.
You saw me round 2 last year, the back post.
Exactly.
Right there.
I can't believe that you were saying before that you were a small kid, because you're a fucking beast now. So obviously you've been getting fed something that's maybe an illegal substance, or you've just fucking gone through a big
It's the wog food, I reckon. Yeah.
That's why you moved home.
No, Yeah, that's why. No, honestly, I swear to you, when I was at Sydney United from all the way probably the 8th to 15, 16, I did not play my own age. I was too small, smallest kid for my age. I was weak. I was a little skinny kid. Even though now I'm a bit of a leaner build, still got that little bit of skinny side, but I've grown into it. Like I've gotten now to that 6 foot, 6'1", and yeah, I'm lucky that I can still move a little bit at 6'1", because you see some stiff lads.
Yeah, but it is. I think for modern day footballers, like you need to be big. Like it's
Yeah,
very hard. It's very hard to get to the top level without having, being really tall, strong, quick. Fuck, like you need to almost have everything. The Premier League
yeah,
players, like fucking hell, you look at them and you think, oh, like Declan Rice. You look at him, you think, oh, he's not that big because he's next to fucking Saliba, but he's fucking 6'1", 6'2", fucking quick, can run all day, and that's your number 8, number 6. So then
yeah.
imagine what the fucking wingers are like when you're like coming up against these guys. It's incredible. So you've got the good genetics, so that's a positive thing on that side. Have you really tried to smash the gym? Obviously, being a more underdeveloped kid, is that something that you really tried to focus on when you broke through at Western United and Western Sydney?
Don't
Yeah,
lie.
when
Don't lie.
Benny's here to see. When I was at Western United, we had an S&C there. His name was Rondo, top guy. And I kid you not, I swear to you, every time we had lowers, I would bust, like I would kill it. I would always try my hardest with lowers. When it come to uppers, I was lazy. I just couldn't be. I was like, I can't lift it. I don't want to do it. But now I've sort of like grown into myself a little bit and started to do it when I come back. And now I feel a bit stronger. But now, when I was at Western, honestly, all I did was legs, because when I was short and playing relative age, I was skinny everywhere. So I was just getting pushed off, couldn't run, and the only thing my dad, Benny's not my dad, tough guy, he's just a typical walk, right? He's a typical Croatian dad that just loves football. He would always tell me, it's your legs. Grow your legs, smash your legs, like get your legs big. So I just listened to him, and that's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got some decent tree trunks on you now, and you're obviously able to hit the ball hard enough because you put 3 past Ryan Scott on the weekend. Did you give him a cheeky message, our old mate Scotty?
Yeah, I was happy about that. I spoke to him after the game for a while. I was whining. I don't know. You couldn't really see, if you watch the replay for the penalty, you can't really see it. But there was so much banter going on in that penalty spot. You could not even like fathom. He was started off with the VAR. Then Scotty come in and started ripping up the spot. He looked. If you watch the replay on Paramount, he looks to the lino about a few times, digs it. Then he gets mauled by our boys. Anyway, he's at the screen talking. While he's talking on the screen, he's come back to dig it again. So that's 2. Then I'm walking up and he's screaming at me. He goes, "Are you going to let Brandon take it, or are you too soft?" I don't know, how explicit can I be on this show?
As explicit as you want.
Yeah, he's going, you're a little soft cock. You're not going to take the hat trick. You got no balls. I know what you're going to do. I've known you for too long. And I'm just laughing at him. I'm like in my own head, I'm like, I'm going to score. But then I'm still listening to him like, this fucker knows exactly where I'm going to put it, because I've taken how many penalties against him.
True.
Like, Scotty's probably one of the best penalty stoppers I've seen. He's good. He's good on the spot. So I've stepped up, and in my mind, I was going across my body, because my left is where I go, and he knows that. So I'm going across my body. Then he's giving me, you see it on the Paramount camera, he's giving me a chip. He goes, chip it. And he's chipping. I was like, oh, what do I do now? I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Do I go right? Last second, I'm like, I'll just smack it left. I'll go to my spot. And thank God, I asked him after. He waited. He thought I was gonna hit it down the middle hard.
Oh, did he?
He reacted to it. If you watch it again, he reacted like he didn't go early. Because if he goes early, he saves that. It's actually not the greatest pen. It wasn't in the corner. So, yeah, I was giving him stick after the game. I had to, because he's done that ever since I was 17 years old. So I had to get that back.
That's quality.
Yeah,
It's
it was
actually,
good.
it's crazy how much, especially with the VAR, if you're the one that's taking the penalty, obviously Brandon was holding the ball, probably trying to protect you so players didn't get into you, but you were still copping it anyway. But it's crazy, the VAR and that extra 2-3 minute wait, the fucking mind games that start going through.
Is.
And even though if you're really, like, you've scored 2 goals, so like your confidence couldn't be much higher, to be honest. And you still start to have these doubts. And when someone starts saying stuff to you, then you're like, fuck, what way do I go? Like, I remember I was speaking to Eugene Galekovic as well about this, and I was saying, like, they all look and they know where you've taken penalties. Like every goalkeeper coach and goalkeeper, they go through the list. They say, this is where he takes majority. And I'm like, so where do you go then? Like, he's like, well, normally you just go where they take their majority. But obviously there's the odd time they might take a gamble.
Yeah.
So it's fucking luck of the draw. At the end of the day, like, you can be a good penalty taker, but fuck, for me, you take a lot of penalties, like you said. That one there, if he goes the right way early, it gets saved. But he doesn't, so it's a fucking good penalty.
Like that whole time from the VAR, I knew I was going to take it because Brandon said, "You got it. I'll just hold it," thinking everyone like I'll take it. But Scotty knew. Scotty's knew I was taking that pen when I was looking at him. I've known him too well. I speak to him every week on the phone, FaceTime messages. He knew. So yeah, there's so much mind games that goes on. I think if any other keeper said that to me, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't faze me one bit. But because it was him, it was getting into my head a little bit because he knows exactly where I want to go. But yeah, it's. I think that's actually a large part why we enjoy it. Like, there's so much banter on the field and like not stuff personally, but because I like to talk on the field too. I like to give it a bit to the referees, to the players, like you, Steph. Like, you're annoying to play against. Let's be real. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun. Like, I'm telling the ref that game in Adelaide, you beat us the other day. You were talking to the ref a few times, and every time I ran past that ref, I'm like, just fucking book him. Shut him up. Just fucking book him. I'm like, just book him. And he's he's laughing at me. He's like, that's how he is. I'm like, I don't care. Just book him. Yeah. So no, I actually enjoy it. I think it's a large part of the game these days because, especially when you get more confident, more games, like, it doesn't have that effect on you. Like, if you had maybe a kid on debut with 5-10 games and he starts talking to him, maybe he'll forget about the game a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So I think now when you get more comfortable, you can do it plus focus. And I think I love that part of the game. It's actually, I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. I think especially in Australia, because everybody kind of knows everybody. Like,
yeah,
nothing's ever that personal, obviously.
Yeah,
but
nothing's personal. Never.
Like, you want to try and get under their skin, and if you're fucking winning, like if I play against Ben, like, obviously I want to win, but at the same time, like, you're taking the piss on the field, but it's still serious. It's almost like, because you know the person, you want to score that hat trick against fucking Scotty because you want to rub it in. Where if he saves it, you're never going to fucking hear the end of it. Yeah,
like I love actually playing against like good friends and stuff, because actually you want to win. You want to win more and more and more. Like, I feel like when you play against teams that either you don't like or you have something there about you have that sort of more focus. Like, I know every time I play against Western United, I'm locked in. I want to score. I want to assist. I want to win. Especially when I'm playing against my mates. Like, even at Adelaide, like, if Dylan, I don't know if you spoke to Dylan after that FA Cup game. Every time I went near him, I was scratching him. I was grabbing him. I was annoying him, because I know Dylan doesn't like it. He's not about that. He hates it. You know, he doesn't like to talk. He just wants to.
Yeah, he has to focus.
Yeah. So when you're talking to him and you're pinching his nipples, he doesn't like it.
No. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. It's hard enough for him just to focus on the job at hand.
Yeah, I know. That's our new dad.
I think he definitely locks in though as well, because against fucking Western Sydney, he scored fucking an absolute bomb, and I've never even seen him shoot on target in training since he's been at Adelaide. So he obviously locks in as well.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't even fathom when he scored that goal. I was walking past him. I go, "You're not serious, right?" Like, I remember like walking out there for kickoff, and it was like 5 minutes in, and he was having a bit of success down that right. I think a lot of your success was coming through Dylan's side. And I remember talking to the boys. Someone went down, and I'm like, "It's all right, just force him out, let him shoot. Like, you ain't gonna score from there." That's bit me right in the arse. That comment, it's bit me right in the arse. And even at training, how much I've known him, half the time he's better at scoring with his left foot than his right.
Yeah, he's got it. He's good on his left.
Yeah, he's good on his left, and he's pulled that volley. I'm like, he's gonna. I genuinely thought after that, I'm like, the second goal, he's gonna score a hat trick. He's gonna score a hat trick tonight. He's gonna score a hat trick from right back. But
yeah, well, fuck. If you watch that game back, we're fucking 4-3 up in the 85th minute or 88th minute, and he's fucking making a forward run when they told him to play right back for the last fucking, because he plays right wing back almost. They said play right back. Panasha's coming on right wing. This guy's making a forward run from the left wing from a corner, a break, and on the bench we're looking at each other. Me and I can't remember who was next to me. Said, "Is this guy fucking serious?"
Like, that's such a Dylan thing to do as well. It's the best. I love it.
And afterwards he's like, "Yeah, I thought I was going to score the hat trick."
Yeah.
Well, hey, He did something right because he got in your team of the year, in your rolling team of the year, and Milo's not in there yet. So
It's true. It's actually true. And you know what? Maybe Milo could play right wing back in that system. I don't know if he's going to get back defensively, but does Dill get back all the time as well? Not really. So
no. It's
I
just
think
a little bit
I think last week against Newcastle was probably the most tackles I made in a game than all the other four combined.
yeah, there you go.
If you train with this guy knows how to make a tackle. Trust me, he's not a typical winger. He snapped me a few times in the possession drills that we used to do at training.
I've changed a lot since the Western United days. Yeah, I've got my head's come back to level head. Yeah,
See red.
Yeah, Western United. I was notorious, not notorious, but
you were notorious.
I was the one that if someone really was pissing me off or pissing everyone off or was doing something a bit busy or just like getting under my skin, it was just the only way I could deal with it. I just had to go snap them. That was just how it was. Yeah, just how it was.
Off the field, they were being busy, and you thought, "Fucking, I'm going to lay one on."
Yeah, never off the field. It was never personal. I was mates with everyone off the field. It was always fine off the field. But on the field, if someone was like pissing me off, or I don't know, I know many times. Good story actually. I don't know if Benny's told you. We've actually gone head and throat at each other's throats. Borderline punch from Benny as well, by the way. So yeah, we've gone for it just because of my stupidity. So it was notorious back then.
But fuck, this guy here's got a temper as well, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. That was
be with anyone. It's definitely him.
That wasn't too good heads to lock horns with back then. Nah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I can't even remember what it was. I think Benny.
Neither can I. I just remember one day in the big possession, me and you. Yeah, it got heated between me and you. I think you snapped me, and I was like, "The fuck are you doing? That's not like that wasn't. You weren't even."
Yeah, and I told you to get fucked. I think
you told me to get fucked. Yeah, and I snapped you back, and then I think it was on. But
yeah, it was on. Yeah, because you know what? At that Western United team, we were all so close. No one really had. If one got hot, the other would just leave it because it's not that deep. But because both of us would never leave it, that's the problem. So
Not on the field. Off the field, 100%.
Off the field, yeah. That's what I mean. Off the field is never
whatever, no worries. I'm happy to take it. I don't care if everyone's laughing at me. But on the field, not a chance.
I can't believe that story just come back to me. Fuck, that was funny. That was funny. Yeah, that was funny.
That's the best, isn't it? Like, I think when you've got a really close team and that happens, like obviously you don't want to do it all the time because someone can get injured. But in the moment when you just like you're doing a possession and something goes against you, someone fouls you and it doesn't get given, you think, all right, you fucking wait. You just fucking wait.
Yeah.
You're playing in his head, you're like, give him the ball, and then bang. And then you're like,
I used to actually,
I'm a dumb kid. Why did I do it?
Yeah, that's the worst part because you've got the time in the head. Like, you've got the time to go, you know what, it's not worth it. But you never do. Yeah. In that moment, you're like, no, 100%. Yeah. Like, he fucking 100% deserves it. And then about 10 minutes after training finishes, you're like, why did I even do that?
Yeah, all the time after that was the only thing. I'd sit down there in my corner across from Benny. I'd look down, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I doing? What am I going to kill this guy for? When he's literally, I'm here, I'm just about to go to coffee with him. What's the point? What's the point? Literally, yeah.
You know what? It honestly is. It's all part of the learning process. Like how many times that happens, and it's probably good for people to hear this because the handbags, the fights in training, like sometimes there actually is proper punch-ons in training where you have to rip two teammates apart, and people probably get surprised, but unfortunately when it's such high stakes and you really you put your whole life to it, and so does someone else, you just want to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
That's why you've got to a professional level because you want to win so badly. So it's good. As a professional athlete, wearing a GPS tracker every day is crucial. It gives me detailed insights into my performance, my output levels, and helps me track my progress over time. That's why having access to that kind of technology, no matter what level you're playing at, is a game changer. With Motion Sports and the Socceroos GPS, you can do exactly that. Whether you're an aspiring pro or just someone who loves playing the game, Socceroos allows you to track your distance, speed, compare yourself against 50,000 other users, and build a player profile, just like we do as professionals. Having that data at your fingertips is invaluable for any footballer looking to level up their game. And right now, you can get 15% off with the code BESTFRIENDS at checkout. So head over to www.motionsports.com.au, grab your Socceroos GPS and start taking your football performance to the next level. but we did.
Yeah.
We steered a little bit off track there.
Yeah.
I want to get back to. I have to ask you, obviously, Sydney FC. They signed Douglas Costa. A week later, Western Sydney come out. Big one, Mata. How's it been? Like, how actually has it been? Because, you're a Chelsea fan. To have a player like that coming in first day, what was it like? It would have been a bit surreal for most of the younger boys, especially.
Yeah, it was. It was. Like, I don't care who anyone was in that change room. You were a bit starstruck when you saw him. You're like, it's Juan Mata. He's in our change room. Like, he sits next to me in the change room for games and training. He sits on my left. So I'm like, oh, God, like, what do I do? What do I say? Like, I'm nervous. I'm usually good at talking. I'm nervous. What do I say to this guy? Like, what do I do? And then first day, actually, he walked in. He'd obviously done his research and watched us because he come in the day after we played Adelaide in the Cup. That was his first day. And he walked in and he said hi to me. He goes, nice goal last night. And I'm thinking, looking around, like, fuck, did anyone just hear that? That's how my mind was. But no, he's a top guy. He's one of those foreigners that we've all had. That's just a legend. He's a legend. He helps all the young boys. He gives everyone advice. And I think it's just his experience that he shows on the field. Like, we've all had we've had good players come this league. Like, we had Dia, you've had Del Piero, you've had like your Barishas, you've had how many players? This guy's name is on a different level. He's World Cup, Euros, Champions League, Premier League. He's won it all. He's done it all. So you're thinking, what makes him that guy? And then even now, at whatever he is, 37, whatever he is insane on the ball. His composure, how he gets the ball and turns. He doesn't even look. He knows where the space is. It's just you watch, even though like, yes, I'm on the wing, but it's similar positions, So sometimes I watch him, I just stare at him and how he runs and where he runs and what he does. It's just next level. And then you go out there to try to do it and you're standing next to the defender. So it's like he's got that class about him, like his first touch, his shooting, his set piece delivery, like at training he's taking free kicks and everyone's going in. Thinking how? Like what? I don't know, maybe it's that Spanish genes, I don't know, but yeah.
So he's been really good in training?
Yeah, he's a class act. He's unbelievable. And even off the field, like everyone, he wants to go out with us. He wants to go to dinners. He wants to go to lunches with us. He comes with the young boys. Like he's just there to have a good time. He loves Sydney. He loves Australia. He loves the beach. He goes, this country's the best. He's like, the weather's the best. He goes, I go out and sit out there and the sun's out all day. I'm like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, yeah, that's how it is here.
Has he got family?
He's got a girlfriend he's had for a while, but no kids. He's had no kids, so he's really enjoying himself. Him and his missus, they live down towards Bondi, I'm pretty sure. So he's chilling down there. He's loving it. Yeah.
What does he do? Does he get the helicopter to training out west?
Yeah. I asked him, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing in your spare time? You're driving your F1 car down here. He's laughing because he actually owns Alpine, a little bit of it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He does. So I make F1 jokes all the time to him. So yeah, he's a good guy. And like, you think of someone that's made a career himself and he's made that much money in his career, you think maybe he can just be a bit of a cockhead, but he's just not. He's just like the rest of us. Like, he comes out the coffee, he plays the fine, spins the wheel, does all of it. He's the legend. He's actually a great guy. Great for the change room. He's a good one for the change room, to be fair, because he's a clown as well, which is good.
And it's just what you want, like, from the foreigners. I know it's so hard. Look, I don't even know, probably the three of us sitting here, if we could say that we would be that humble if you got to that level, because
you definitely wouldn't. And fucking hell, you're not even humble now.
Fucking hell, it's not. I don't need to worry about it because I know I'm never fucking gonna get to that level. 100%. I'll be like, yeah, fucking clean my fucking shoes, peasant.
No, you don't know. You actually don't know. You don't know.
I don't know if it is those Spanish guys, like the Spanish especially. They just seem like they're just such nice people. We were even with David Villa at Melbourne City. He was only here for a few games, but the way he took us out for a dinner.
We were in Latrobe at a fucking demountable, and the worst showers I've ever seen. This guy just came from winning the Euros, wasn't it?
I don't even know.
He just won the Euros. He comes to Latrobe, and I remember we were waiting one day for a shower, and like there was only like 2 or 3 showers. So if there was a queue, like you just fucking wait there with your cocks out, holding a towel. And I thought, yeah, David, like you can go ahead of me. And he's like, no. It's fun. I'm fucking sick. What, 17, 18 years old. This guy's letting me shower first. I feel like an idiot. Like I like within 5 seconds, like washing. You go.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, that they are. I don't know if it's a Spanish thing. Like another good one the other day, we had on the top of our sheds, we had these two. You know those birds that nest on the ground? They swoop you if you come near them. I don't know what their name. I don't know what their names are, but anyway, I don't know what sparrows.
The Captain Jack.
But we had these two birds, right? And they were every time. So I was there early with Brandon, and we've come in, and we're walking to the change. It's right above the entrance to the change room. These birds. So every time someone got out the car, walked to the change room, it was swooping on every single player. So we're just watching everyone come in. They're fucking shitting themselves like proper. And then Juan comes in, and every time now he was watching our lunch. He had this little like plastic thing where if you just show it to the roof, they would lose their shit. The birds. So every time someone would come or a staff member, Juan would go outside and start waving it so these birds would attack them. Like he's like you know what I mean. Like the banter on him is. I didn't think that was one thing. I didn't think he had banter about him like that. He's absolutely hilarious. He's hilarious. And that's what it's good. Like makes it fun. Makes it fun to come to work. You know.
No, I think like there would be nothing worse than like if you're a Chelsea fan. Obviously, we're football fans just in general, but you support a club that he played for, so you obviously idolise him a little bit. If he comes in, if he's a wanker, it's so sour in your mouth because you're just like, I love this guy when I was a kid, and now he's just it to me. Like, what am I meant to do? But like, it's honestly a credit to him. And Javi Lopez is another one, like captain of Espanyol for 6-7 years in La Liga, comes here and is just the nicest guy in the world. So I definitely think the trend is the Spanish ones are just really humble people. But yeah, it would be so crazy for him. Years ago, he's walking into fucking Old Trafford, whatever, Stamford Bridge, and now he's just walking into fucking Wonderland. Like,
yeah, he's walking into Blacktown International Sports Park. That's where he's come.
It is insane. Like, he was at Tarneit. He was fucking at Ironbank Fields.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ironbark. We come on the bus to the game, and he looks at me because I sit next to him. He looks at me like this. He's like, is this where they're playing? I was like, yeah. He goes, He goes, good grass.
Top grass.
He goes, good grass. I'm like, yeah, it is. Top grass. Probably the best grass I've played on all season, to be honest.
He probably bought fucking 2 hectares of land out there after that. He thought, this is a good investment here.
Yeah, he's got some funny ones, but yeah, I crack the F1 jokes all the time at him. He gets the shit. It's so funny.
Yeah. We'll have to get him on. That's our aim by the end of the season to get Juan Mata on the podcast. So maybe you can put in a word. Yeah,
I'll try. I'll mention to him. I know if he tells me he's a busy guy, he's a liar because he's not.
Yeah, he's not.
Nah, he goes to Bondi after he's Juan Mata at the end of the day.
Maybe we need to fly to Bondi. We fly to Bondi and we fucking do it at the icebergs there.
Yeah. Yeah, right there. Could you do it at the Coogee Pav? That's hilarious. This guy, when he just got to Sydney, by the way, 3 days, he goes to Coogee Pav thinking it's a restaurant on a Sunday. Goes to Coogee Pav, and one of my missus' friends messaged me and goes, Juan's Matt's the Pav. I'm like, oh, is he getting swarmed? The guy didn't even eat. He just left. He was just getting absolutely swarmed by everyone. I'm like, fine. Why don't you ask? He goes, I just searched up restaurants near me. And that's what it was. Coogee Pavilion. Literally, but yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it's not a bad night out there. So he probably thought, I'll remember this one for next night out.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's not the Juan Mata show. We need to get back onto you, because we could talk about him for a lot longer, and we don't want to keep you for too long. But I guess now going into this season, after the breakout year, talk to us a little bit about the move that kind of didn't happen. Obviously, you're getting linked with a few teams. There was a lot of players that did get sold in the last off season. So talk us through the talks that you had with different teams. Why a move didn't come about? Did you choose to stay in Australia? I think, obviously myself and Ben understands a lot how this happens, but I think a lot of listeners out there don't really understand how this happens. So it'd be interesting, take us through from the end of the season up until pre-season or until you knew the move wasn't going to happen, of like all the different phone calls, the conversations you had. If you're allowed to name teams, feel free to drop them as well to pump yourself up. Go for it.
Nah, no, what should I say? It was, to be honest, probably the biggest takeaway from like that whole process was the mental side. It takes a toll big time. Like that's probably like from maybe 5-6 rounds left of the season. I knew I was having a good year, and there was some interest coming in, like little talks, no offers or anything, just talks about this and this club, and thinking, wow, it's like pretty cool. Like these clubs are interested in me and I could possibly move overseas, and I think that didn't really faze me at the start. I just wanted to finish the season strong. And obviously the season finished. We didn't make the finals, so I had a little bit of extra time. And then I've gone on a holiday to LA and Hawaii with my missus, and like halfway there, I'm getting all these calls from my agent and other people like, oh, like you got this club and this club, and it was serious talks like with a lot of clubs like in the Croatian First Division, in the Second Division in Germany, a bit of the MLS, a bit of other clubs. There was big links with Dinamo Zagreb. It's nowhere to shy. That was everywhere, all over Twitter and Instagram. Couldn't see the end of it, to be honest. But yeah, it was. I was prepping myself to go. I was really confident that I was locking myself in to go. I was preparing to go. It was very much 75-80% done. I thought it was off. But then just last second, it just, as we both know, it just didn't break down. These clubs sometimes they sign other wingers that they needed on the spot, maybe done better or quicker to the hand, you'd say maybe. But yeah, it just didn't go through, and they took that few weeks from when it didn't go through up until like pre-season. I was like mentally like, how am I going to get out of this? I'm like, well, the world's over. Like we're never going to leave. Da da da. But yeah, it was tough mentally. Lucky I had some good people around me. Lucky I'm at home, to be honest. So yeah, it was frustrating. It was frustrating because I thought, you put in your head like seeing all these players, like not taking away from them, obviously, like. You got one of my good mates, Lockie Brook, Jake Goodall-Reich, all these friends, and they're all moving overseas. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, how come I can't get a move and all that stuff? But yeah, it was tough. It was tough, challenging mentally, and then I just decided there was other stuff there at the MLS and stuff, and then I just said to my agent, I said, you know what, just cut it all off, lock in for one more year. I'll try my best here again, and hopefully I can outdo last year and see if I can get overseas then. That was sort of the thought process, and yeah. It's paying off all right.
So you wanted to go to Europe? That's what you're saying? You didn't?
Yeah. My main goal was to go to Europe. I was definitely open to the MLS as well. I was open to both. But it was Europe. Europe's always been my dream. Even as I wasn't even a professional, it was Europe. I want to go to Europe. So and it still is. It still is. Like after this season or the year after, I still want to go to Europe. So that's. I definitely want to try. At least say I've tried. If I failed, I failed. I come back. It's no problem for me.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a great question, Steph, and well said as well from you, because I think it is good to give people that insight because, looking from the outside, even as a player, you look at, I look at someone like yourself, for example, after last year, I'm like, yeah, he'll get a move, no worries. But we've also been in that situation, and when it's yourself in the situation, you feel like, nothing's going to come up. Like no one's interested. Fuck, like what's going on? Like this club just signed a player. This club doesn't have the money to pay that. And it just feels like there's always something, kind of in the way. And
something wrong,
in that position, sometimes, you knock something back and then you think you'll get something better. The contractual side of football is probably one of the hardest things mentally. It's a lot different than playing, but it still does take a toll. And it's very much got to do with business as well, more so than actual, someone's talent. Sometimes, sometimes you look at some players, the career they had, and then you're like, fuck, they were way better than that to just play in Australia for their whole career. But sometimes the right move doesn't come up at the right time. You don't have that luck. It's hard, but I think your mentality has been right, and locking in with Wanderers, repaying that faith that they showed you, staying for another season, and just staying at least to put your best foot forward. Not just to propel yourself maybe to Europe, but staying to also help Wanderers. And I think you've started very well on that foot. I'm sure if you keep going and you've got that belief like you've had, you will get there. I think you deserve it. I think you deserve to probably be in the national team at the moment, but you don't need to make any comment on that. But no, I think if you keep going, you will 100% get there, and you do deserve it.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah,
That was nice.
very nice. That's probably one of the
It's very unlikely to hear something nice from him. So thanks, mate.
Jesus Christ. You obviously must be paying him to say that. Just you said at the end of the podcast, make sure you pump me up, yeah? Popper wants to get me in the Socceroos. I'm going to move to fucking Dinamo Zagreb. Enjoy the life. But it's it's tough. You know, like, I think for me, I always found the hardest bit about it is like you're trusting these agents
Yeah.
to have all these conversations, and whatever they're saying to you, like they could just be fucking pissing in your pocket or bullshit.
Yeah.
You actually have no idea. You have no idea what they're saying to these clubs. You have no idea what the clubs are saying to you. You have no idea, what their agent is saying to Western Sydney, for example. You're just kind of stuck in the middle, and you're just getting information from him or her, and you're just hoping that they've got your best interest at heart. Like I would love it, me personally, this is just me. I would love to be, and I know some players would hate it, but I'd love to be on every single phone call. Like, I don't need to speak, but I want to fucking hear what's going on to know, like, are they saying the right things, or are they saying that I want too much money, or is the agent trying to take fucking so much cash?
Yeah.
That's why it's breaking down. Not saying that's the case, but
Yeah.
it happens all the time. Like, you see some of these players that, like you were saying, Ben, some players get these moves, and you're like scratching your head. You're like, how the fuck has he got this move?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true though.
Like, why hasn't he got a move? Like, there's so much more to it. It's a fucking dark world with the agents, and
It
you
is.
don't want to piss any of them off because obviously they're a big player in football. But as the individual athlete, the player, you're just a pawn in this fucking game.
Yeah, 100%. It's actually a good point. Like I didn't really mention that. It's like it's a good learning curve because this is my first like sort of window where I'm like, okay, I've got interest overseas. My first learning curve in my head. Like at the start, we have one or two phone calls with different agents or teams. You're like, okay, he wants me, and then okay, he wants me. But then you're connecting the dots, and I've spoken to now 8, 9 agents, and it all correlates the same. It's all we'll make you this, and I'm thinking you're pissing in my pocket here. Like that's what goes through your head, and then you think who's good, who's bad, who's telling me the truth, who's really like taking the piss out of me. So I think that's a good learning curve as well, and it's hard. It's a hard game because it's like, yeah, right, this one's the one I trust him, but then another one gives you a better pitch. So it's like, who do I trust here? It's a hard game. I can understand why now after what I went through, what other players have gone through, not getting moves. It's tough. It actually is. It's very tough.
Yeah. Well, you've obviously. Yeah, and that's probably one bonus of the A-League having the longest off-season and pre-season in the world, is it actually does give you time to reset. You go through it, and once you know, all right, I'm fucking here. I have two choices. I either fucking sook about it, or I train hard, do well in pre-season, start the season well, and something will come your way. And obviously you've done that, scoring a hat-trick early in, just fucking... I was saying to Dill, I think he was messaging me during that game because he said he watches every A-League game on one of the posts. So
yeah, you know what, and he's probably not lying because every time I go to his house, he's fucking watching the A-League.
He does like it, so
yeah, he does.
And we were saying, like in that game, like I felt like even against us, you were confident, but you weren't the same as last year. You looked like for whatever reason there was a little bit off. But when you scored the first goal, and then once the second goal went in, then it looked like you were a different player. And sometimes that's all you need. Goals kind of give you confidence, and then the confidence, you just play freely. So it's a good thing that early in the season you've got that hat trick. Now you can kind of kick on and hopefully go on to bigger and better things. But to round out, we know you've probably got to leave and go and play some fucking Call of Duty or whatever it is. I'm a boomer, as Ben's fucking missus would say. So I don't play that shit anymore. But for the rest of this season, what are some of the goals that you've got, and where do you think Western Sydney will go with Stadge at the helm?
I think we'll get better and better as time goes. I think because we're playing a system that like you've both played against us, probably studied it. It's very fluid. It's very like tens come in, tens go out, strikers drop, tens running behind. Like it's a very you know what I mean. So I think once the chemistry keeps building and building and building, we'll be fine. Like and defensively as well. Like we've copped a fair bit of goals, but it's down to just that like one sort of lapse of concentration, sort of mistakes, and I think. If we just touch that up and the chemistry between the back line gets better over time. Like you got to remember, we've got a young centre back, and Alex Bonatic is a great player, but he's still he's young. He's still getting that command. Then he's next to a guy that can't really speak English that well. So it's that partnership that they're starting to build and build. And you saw it in last games, Newcastle. I thought they were beasts together. I thought they were unbelievable. They ate everything up, and we didn't really see that in the first 2-3 rounds. So now you can see it's kind of getting better and better. So I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be there at the end. I really do. I'm sure we'll say it, but I really do believe we've got the players and we've got the team, we've got the coaching staff to definitely kick on into the finals. Yeah.
You've still got, I think Loz being out as well. Obviously, your skipper, that's massive. I think that you can't understate that. Him being out these first few games, and then the goals that you've maybe copped, because that's a big leader back there. So I'm sure once he's back, which should be relatively soon. I spoke to him when we played against you guys, and he said it wouldn't be too long. So hopefully he'll be back soon. That'll be another big plus for you guys. You've got quite a few good young players as well coming through. You know, some of the ones that already showed themselves this season. Hammond scoring in the derby, Sich Luna. I don't know if I've said it right, but he looks like a top player. And Bonatic, I rate him. You know, he takes some risks on the ball for a centre back, but he more often than not he pulls it off, and he's not afraid to dribble, playing a 1-2. So yeah, I think you definitely got a good squad. I think, you know, should you keep going, should you keep banging in hat tricks, then yeah, it probably will be playing finals for sure.
Yeah, like you said, like we've got those young players coming through, but they got that confidence about them. Like they've got, like you see Bonatic, he gets the ball and he just says he's got space. I'm taking the space. Like it's not safe, you know. Like he's that risk taker. And you got, for me, Dylan Cicluna. I think he's a top player. I think he's gonna be a great player. Honestly, I really do. I rate him highly. And you got other players. You got Hammond getting better and better. You got Priestman getting better and better. Like you got these boys that they're young, but they're not young. You know what I mean? Like they've been around now to see what you have to do to succeed. And we've got, and Sapsford as well.
Batman.
There's Batman. There's another one. Like,
why is he wearing that? Has he got a crack?
Yeah, in the derby, went up for a header late, and he's gone to flick a header on, and he kind of like shattered down here, and he can't really get that impact, and he hates it. But you could only understand the banter he cops and the shit he cops from that mask. I swear to you, and that mask stinks too. By the way, stinks of sweat. Like it's like one of those shin pads, and you take it off, it stinks.
Right.
But yeah, he wants to take it off now.
Last week, didn't he? And did he score against us as well, or did he get an assist in that game against Adelaide?
He might have got an assist. I know he didn't score. His first goal was then.
Yeah, he's just brave, I think.
He's getting confident. He's
played all right with the mask on. Maybe he's got to keep it. If he scores with the mask on, you keep the mask.
That's what I mean. I'm saying keep it on, man. Like the A-Leagues gave you a rap about your mask, and like just keep it on. You scored a goal. You scored a great goal with it on. He goes, no, I've got to get it off. I can't do it. He goes, he hates it. I've never seen a player that hates it so much, really.
Yeah. But no, it is like you said. You've got good young players. Probably years gone by, Western Sydney has actually been really good. They were probably the first ones with a full academy. But the problem was all your academy players were leaving to go to other teams and then getting sold. So Western Sydney weren't even getting the profit from it. And obviously now with the restructure of probably a lot of budgets in different teams, it's all right, can we get more young players through to sell them? I think the ones that find the right balance with experience mixed with young players, because if you just play young players for the sake of it, they're not ready, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Given the opportunity, they're not going to take it. Where, like you said, they've been in the system now for quite a long time. They've been in and out. So when they come in, they're hungry, they want to play, they know what they need to do to succeed, and probably following, like yourself, Western Sydney boy, they want to play for the club. It means something. When you win a derby, it fucking is the best feeling in the world. And when you lose, you hurt just like every other fan. So I think you guys are doing a lot right. We really appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely have to get you on towards the end of the season if you're flying, and if you score next week, we'll put you in the rolling team of the season. Yeah.
All right, deal. That's a deal. That's a deal. Okay, even if I have an absolute stinker and I score, I'm in.
If you score, you're in. We got to make. Don't worry. You just do your job. We'll make the tough decisions.
Yeah. All right, gaffer.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Thank you for coming on. We'll chat to you soon. All right.
No problem. Thanks for that.
What a chat. What a classic conversation that was. Not just not the insight, because there was definitely some good insight in there, but I think just the laugh. He's got some confidence, which I love. I think us Aussies, especially, we lack it. I think when you see a young player coming through that's got that kind of confidence, it's very refreshing to see. I think there's no doubt he'll find himself in the national team soon, or overseas probably at the end of the year.
Yeah, no, like I think because I know Dill's spoken a lot about him and said, yeah, this cunt's fucking so cocky, this and that, he fucking blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, whatever. But I've never met him before, and he's not saying it in a bad way. He's actually saying he's like, nah. He says like he wants to fucking do this, and he'll do it. Like he believes he's going to do it. He said even if he doesn't, he still believes it. And I think that is something that like in Australia we have a little bit of that tall poppy syndrome. If someone wants to be a little bit out there and say how good they are or how good they think they can be, then we smash them down. When, I don't know, like, I wish I was more like that. Like, I think I've got confidence, but not that same level. And I wish when I was younger, I just didn't give a fuck what anyone said. Instead, I would say it to myself. But if you're not saying it out loud, if you're not actually believing it like that, then of course it's not going to happen. And when tough times come, you're not going to believe in yourself where um, you need to have that, and he's got it in abundance, which is good, and will hold him in good stead for his whole career. And shared some good stories, obviously, about you and him getting into bus stops, and that's probably a whole episode we could do on you just losing your head and getting into fights. I reckon if we go back from that young age group, but we don't have time for that. You've got
I'm a
to run
changed
off.
man, Steph. I'm a changed man, Steph. Trust
Yeah,
me.
I know. I don't know. You can't really fucking change too much. It's like I
I
think
still want to fucking,
put
I
it
want
in
to
you.
fucking win. I want to
Yeah, you
win.
got
Yeah,
to.
I've fucking got it in me, 100%. Because when you're fucking out there, it's not good enough to be, unlucky. Maybe tomorrow. Nah, fuck that.
How
I
funny
fucking
is
got
it
to.
though? How funny is it when it's not you, the one that's losing your head, when someone else is, and you're just
Yeah, of
pissing
course.
because you know they're so angry and they're serious. Like people need to come and watch training sessions, and if you do like, let's say a conditioning day, if we've got a conditioning day,
Small
you're
sided
tired,
games, man.
you're tired, you want to win, you're doing small sided games. There's always someone, and there's something on the line. Someone's chirping, and you think, fucking hell. You've always got a little niggle somewhere, so you're tired for the session to begin with. It's hard, it's hot, someone's fucking chirping, and by the end of it, you're like, oh, I'm gonna fucking smash this guy.
Or
And
you know
then,
what's a bad one? You know what's a bad clicking moment? When the coaches, like the assistant coach, doesn't give a foul or something
oh
when it's a
yeah,
foul, they don't
yeah,
blow their whistle, and because it's a
yeah,
very fine line when, especially with coaches, it's a very fine line of like saying like the fuck, like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
then
You
also
can't, yeah, you
you can't speak like that to the coaches, so it's like in your head. So then you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking snap the other player
yeah,
then.
I know, and you can see it as soon as it happens. Like if there's no free kick, you see them look over to the coach, almost give
They don't give a.
nod of the head, and they just start sprinting.
All right, you'll see.
Yeah, and it's like, and to be honest, if I was a coach, if I was an assistant coach, I'd do it on purpose. I'd actually
Yeah.
wind people up because that, like, obviously, don't injure someone, but also you train the way you play. So that's kind of a good way of getting that winning mentality. But anyway, we're meant to do a quick fucking recap of this. You need to get to the movies because you're fucking. What are you watching? The Gladiator or what? Fucking
Yeah, the
some bloke-
Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2, I've heard good things, so looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
You could have went to the premiere screening with Athletic Ventures if you weren't in
I was
Adelaide.
in, yeah, exactly. I was in Adelaide. I was going to go to that, but yeah,
You would have been there with all the big dogs.
that's a cheeky plug from you.
Yeah, it was cheeky. They would have said, "Who's this guy, Garuccio? What do you do?"
Absolutely. I would have been out of place. That's why I just stayed with you in Adelaide. I thought
Yeah,
better to stay in the small pond.
yeah, it's good. Big fish in the small pond down here in Adelaide. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening in. We will be announcing the giveaway winner for the Unite round as well. So Thursday afternoon is when the winner will be announced. Obviously, a massive week of football. Hopefully, you've already booked your plane tickets if you're not from Sydney to get down there. But I'm really excited. It's my first one. Obviously, you played in it last year, Ben. But I think it's a great occasion, and I'm actually going to call out the South Australian Premier Peter Malinauskas to do it next year in Adelaide. I think Sydney's done it for 3 years now, and hopefully Adelaide can get it, because I reckon it would be unbelievable down here in Adelaide.
Yeah, I think this is the second year. I think the deal was for 3 years though.
They did the grand final that first year, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So this is that 3 year deal up. If they're going to look to do it again, Adelaide's the place to be. It's a small city, Cooper Stadium. Maybe you can't do the men and the women, but you could do all the men there, and it will be pumping.
Yeah. Well, it worked well with the gather round.
Yeah.
With the footy, so I'm sure it would be a success.
Yeah, I'll get him on the phone tomorrow. I'll see what he says.
Get him on the blower. It's gonna be an awesome weekend. I'm looking forward to it. We play first. We're at 5:30 on Friday night. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, it's just it was a really good vibe. It really was a great vibe last season. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully there's some decent crowds. There's going to be some big games. The women's also are there. So there's plenty of football. No excuse this week, guys. Get down to a game. If you're from Sydney and you don't go to a game, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing this weekend. So
yeah, it's so, thanks everyone for listening in.
Thank you guys. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe wherever you're listening to. We're Football Friends Pod on Instagram. We're Ben and Stef Pod on X, and we're Football Friends with Ben and Stef on YouTube. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you Monday to wrap up Unite Round.